Hello, everybody. Lost my place. Already, I've lost my place. Welcome to our channel. And I've got a frog in my throat. I'm Kath Armstrong, creator of the Cheapskates Club, where our goal is to live life debt-free, cashed up and laughing. If this is your first time visiting our channel, welcome. We're glad you could join us. And if it's not, welcome back. Now, before I get started, can I just ask you to click on the subscribe button below me? That's if you're not already subscribed. Then you can click the little bell and choose how often you want to be notified of new videos on our channel, because there's some really good ones coming up. Now, subscribing's free. It only takes the one click. And it means that you will know about the new videos first, and you'll be amongst the first in the world to watch them. How often can we say that? Unless it's New Year's and you live in New Zealand, can't very say that you're going to be the first in the world to do something really often, can you? So I'm really glad you could all join me tonight. It has been a very busy few days here, and I really wasn't sure whether I was going to make it tonight. I wasn't sure whether I'd be able to move tonight to even think about doing the show. But God is good and everything's fallen into place nicely. So it is done, folks. Thank goodness. Filmed, edited, uploaded, SEO'd, shared just about everywhere I could think of that members lurk. The pantry tour is over and done with. Thank you, Lord. Oh my goodness. It has taken days, truly days of my time. It has been one of the most frustrating things I have ever done. And it's not because it's such a fantastic video. It's not. It is amateur all the way. And you know I'm not a video expert. It's amateur all the way. But oh my giddy aunt, did Murphy keep getting in my way when I tried to do this video? Little things like the camera stopped working. I'd be well into a section and look down and the camera's just stopped. It's frozen. Did that about 4 times before I gave up. Just stopped. I thought, you know what? I can cope with this. I'm a cheapskater. Throw it at me. So I switched cameras. I thought, surely things will be fine now. Switched cameras. Went to my craft desk. Took the camera off the craft desk. Switched tripods. Got it all sorted out. Plugged it in. Tested it. It was fine. Yep. Went to record. And the darn thing couldn't be found on whatever the program is. It could not find it. A minute before it was there, then it just disappeared. I'm like, okay, what will I do? So I got my phone. Apparently my phone is too old and too slow and doesn't have enough memory to do a pantry tour video. Guys, I was beyond frustrated. I was just about in tears. I was so frazzled because I'd set it up so I'd worked it out how I wanted it to go so it would be quite smooth for you and make sense. And all these things just kept going wrong. So I took a day or two off. I took a couple of days off, actually. Didn't even look at it, didn't touch it. Came back to it, and I still couldn't figure the wretched thing out, honestly. I was ready to say, that's it. I'm going to sulk and not do it. Anyway, the boys came to my rescue, and they helped me, and even they were a bit befuddled and bemused by what was going on. But anyway, we got it done. We got it done. There was a lot of film, about 3.5 hours of actual footage. And then the editing started. Do you know how much I like editing? I'm sure you do. I just don't like editing at all. So that took about 4 hours. A lot of hair tearing and looking up help files and trying to figure out why what was on my screen didn't match what I was supposed to be doing. And anyway, it was done. Done as it's ever going to be. So the pantry tour has been uploaded to the member centre. It is sitting there. You can log in and click on the link. It's on our homepage and watch it. I apologise for the length. I really did. But I cut out a lot. I cut out a whole lot of just fluff, really, because you guys don't need fluff. You want the nitty gritty. You don't want fluff. So it's there in the Members Centre for you. Log in, go to the page and enjoy it, I hope. Now, let me just, I missed saying hello because I got so frazzled. This thing has had me frazzled. Okay, Greg Evans, hello. Hello, Annabelle. Hello, Selena. Thinking of you before because I've made a note and I thought, oh, Selena was talking about that. Okay. Estelle, you can't understand the title of tonight's show. Did I just give it away? It's done. It's up and loaded. It's done. Hi, Delaney. Guys, Delaney is our moderator for our comments. So I know we all play nice and we all be nice. Make her job easy and keep it that way. Hi, Catherine. Well, we're glad to have you on a live. Hello, Cheryl. No, it's not religious at all tonight, Estelle. Hi, Michelle. Thanks, Delaney. All fixed. Last week we talked about all sorts of things, but pretty much the restocking your pantry on $10 a week, building on $10 a week. Hello, Aradia. Hi, Tegan. Hello, Beverly. Hello, Utah. Hello, Wild Woman. Hi, Maureen. Hope you had a nice holiday. Hello, Kylie. Hello, Sylvia. Oh, Mrs. Tilligap. Gosh, there's lots of people here tonight, isn't there? Evelyn. Beverly. Hi, Mary. Amanda. Selena's about 20 minutes into the tour and it's lovely. Oh, thank goodness. Oh, honestly, not my favorite thing to do. Hello, Leonie. Estelle, I've got, I was going to say I've got four cameras. I have 4 cameras that I use, different cameras that I use for different things. They've been fine ever since. I sort of figured, okay, after I got over my frustration, I went, all right, I'm just not meant to do that today. Take a breath, step back, leave it and come back to it, which is what I did. I was thinking of your friend's son this afternoon. Wayne said to me, you know, there are people that you can pay to edit those videos. And I just gave him the look. I gave him the look. We all know the look. And I said, yes, I do. And I was thinking of your friend's son, Cheryl. I'm tempted. Is that what they're for? Helping mums out? Probably. Hi, Lynette. Hello, Jane. Hello, Catherine. Wills. Selena, we were talking about wills. It was probably about 12 months ago. It's still on my list of things to do. And we were talking about wills. Might as well talk about it now, seeing what's up. On tonight's news, which was on while we were, what were we doing? Something. Wayne and I were doing something. And on 7 News, there's a company offering free wills online. Now, I'm not a huge fan of DIY wills, simply because it's not a one-size-fits-all type of thing. And the laws for probate, the laws for tax, the laws for inheritance change so often and are different between states. So doing it yourself can be really tricky. But if you don't have a will, please get one. At the very least, you need to appoint an executor of your estate, even if you have nothing to leave anyone. Nothing, you've got the clothes on your back and that's it. You still need a will and you still need an executor for your estate, because the clothes on your back are your estate. But you need someone who is able to close your bank accounts, close your phone bill, your water bill, cancel your lease, your rent lease, or organise your mortgage insurance to pay out, or whatever. You, at the very least, need someone to do that. If you don't have that, not only is it very, very expensive for your family or your friends or whoever is looking after you and in your demise, after your demise, whatever, but state trustees take over and they take a huge chunk. They take a huge chunk. So you've got lawyers' fees. You might, if it ends up in court, you'll have barristers' fees. You've got all those things too that come out of your estate. So you really, really need a will. You really need a will. So the free will thing, I didn't catch a name and I didn't actually see any sort of website or anything flash up on the screen. So I would go to the 7 News website and rewatch it or see if they've posted something. But at the very least, do that. Wills aren't expensive. Like a basic will for ordinary people that don't have, really complicated lives with lots of children and stepchildren and millions of dollars and lots of property and business and shares and whatever. Wills are quite simple, but they're there for a purpose. They're there to protect you after your, well, to protect your wishes after you've passed away, but they're also there to protect your heirs. So it is worth doing. It really, really is worth doing. It's very important. When our kids, as each of our kids turned 18, I took them, they got a passport, they've got their own passport, they got their license. No, Hannah didn't get hers for ages, but they were able to if they wanted to. We transferred their bank accounts from us to them. I gave them, their money was their money then. And I took them to our family solicitor and they got a will. They did up their will. When Hannah bought her house, she changed her will, adjusted it again. Really important thing to do. So I was surprised, the stats, 25% of parents don't have a will. If they're parents, they have children. So what is to become of them? Anyway, it's a bit of a thing I'm a bit passionate about. I have experience with people dying without a will, dying intestate. And it's not fun. It's not fun. So just, bite the bullet and get a will. I'm back. Wow, sorry about that, guys. I don't know what happened. It just all went blank. Okay, so there you go. I was talking about wills. I'm not supposed to talk about these things for whatever reason. Where did we get to? Evelyn, Jade, hello, Colleen. Yep, just for members, the pantry tour. Hello, Samantha. Hello, hi, Glennis. It's normally, apparently this particular will service is normally $160 a radio, but at the moment it's free. So like I said, I don't have any details of it. Go to the 7 News website and see what they have come up with. But a will, I know it's easy to say a will doesn't cost much when you don't have spare cash. Anything is much, but it's worth it, absolutely worth it. Hi, Joy. Exactly, Kylie. There we go. Kylie's exactly. It's a big mess. It can be very, very expensive for your family to try and get what hopefully is what you want them to have, what should be rightfully theirs in that situation. There's a lot of reasons you should have a will. Okay. Dying without a will, especially if you have minor children, is a nightmare. Absolutely a nightmare. Okay. Oh, you could hear me typing. Could you hear me muttering under my breath? Because I was going, oh, it's really, really. Hi, Julia. Really, 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 really. Frazzled. That's the way this week, this last couple of weeks, has been like this. It's been a nightmare. Now, what else did I have on my notes before something else happens? We've done the pantry tour. Next one's going to be the fridge freezer. I mentioned that in the video. I was going to do it all in one. Honestly, I don't think you need a 5-hour video to sit through. It would be just too mind-numbingly boring, I would think. So the next on the list is the fridge freezer, and then I will do the canning shed. I was going to put the freezers in with this one because it is technically part of our pantry. But there's the 2 chest freezers, there's the little freezer over the fridge, and I got a lovely, lovely surprise in the post last week of some bags for organizing my freezer. And so I want to dig down deep and get rid of the ratty old ones and put the new ones in. And I thought, oh, I don't have time to be doing that and try and record the video. So that will be a separate video for you, probably sometime next week, maybe next Monday, Tuesday, depending on how the rest of this week goes. And then the canning shed. Canning shed will only be a short one, I'm sure. But you'll have to laugh. I did, but number one son wanders out and he's looking around, and there's like stuff everywhere, kitchen tables covered in toilet paper and shampoo and whatever, and he's looking around and he's gone, what are you trying to do? Why? What are you trying to do, Mum? And I said, well, I'm doing a pantry tour. And the look, it was blank. He was just blank. Okay, the pantry tour. And he's turned, and as he's walking back down the hallway, he's gone, who in their right mind would want to see a pantry? Cracked me up. Absolutely cracked me up, because I sort of think the same thing sometimes. I think, who would be interested in what's in our pantry? Seriously? It's just food. It's nothing special. It's what we have. It's a portion, actually only a portion of what we have. It's the portion that we use. I explain in the video how some of the canned goods have run down and I'm having trouble. I've been trying to keep it up so it's our 12-month level, and most of the stuff is at the 12-month level for us, which is really, really good. But things that we use all the time, baked beans, tomato soup, are two things that I struggle to get. Someone will say, oh, Woolies has got tomato soup. By the time I get there, it's gone. Aldi's got baked beans again. By the time I get there, they're gone. Honestly, it's nearly driving me insane. I keep thinking, okay, maybe we're not supposed to have those two things. But then I noticed tuna has not only gone up in price, but there wasn't a lot of it on the shelf. And salmon, did I mention that last week? I was going to buy some salmon, tin salmon, for Wayne's lunches to make him, because I do a really good on sourdough bread. You use cream cheese, shredded lettuce and salmon. It's a really nice sandwich. It's a really, really nice sandwich. And I thought, oh, just for a treat, I'll put those in his lunchbox, give him a surprise. I went to get a tin of salmon and it's gone up from $4.69 to $8 something, nearly $9 a tin. It's just about doubled in price. And I went, that's just daft. There is no good reason for that sort of inflation. There just isn't. So he's not getting salmon sandwiches. And when we go away, I usually have a couple of tins for us, and we have the salmon cream cheese and lettuce for our lunch. Anyway, log in to watch the video, head over to the forum. I've created a post for the pantry tour, and if you've got questions, put them over there and I will be able to answer them for you. And the other thing was, I was wondering if you'd like to do a Zoom or something similar. I'll have to see what I've got access to, and we can talk face to face about pantries. Would that be something that you would be interested in? If it is, let me know, because I'm pretty sure we all have really unique ways of looking after our food security. So if we can share them between us, it would be like a little bonus. It would be a bonus for me anyway, because I just do what I've always done, which doesn't necessarily mean it's the right thing. It works for us though. So let me know. Okay. Now I've lost my notes again. Oh, on that note, while I'm thinking of it, over in the members forum, I started a book discussion, a new book discussion. If you're interested, zip into the forum, have a look. It's a little book. You can download it, a little tiny. It's more a blog, in blog form anyway. Download it, have a read of it. And if you're interested, leave a comment, and when everyone's finished reading, we'll start talking about it. It's considering it was written 2013, it's actually quite timely. Now I've got the hiccups, excuse me. Quite timely. But the first time I read it was, years ago, probably just after it was published. And it's sort of, la-di-da, la-di-da, I can do this and I can do this. But the last few years have really had me thinking of different ways to do things. So it was really an interesting little book. So that's something else that we can do too. Now, let me see before I lose you all again. I don't know why. Okay. All right, I'll go back up here. Okay, good point, Cheryl. So glad you brought that up. 24 packets of pasta to build your yearly pantry is it's a smart thing to do. I'm sorry you felt awkward at the checkout. People make us do that. Now, I was reading on one of the Facebook groups, Markdown Addicts, I think, Markdown Addicts Australia. I think that's what it is, where someone just happened to be at a supermarket a few minutes before closing last night, and there were packets of chicken fillets being marked down, and they were marked down to $1.79 for a pack of 3 or 4 or 5. And she bought 30 packets. She stopped at 30. There were actually 50 available. 50 available. She bought 30 and she stopped there because she didn't have room in her freezer. Now, she made her post anonymous because, my goodness, people, is jealousy a curse? Is all I could think. You know, I would have bought them all too. I would have bought 30 or as many as I could too. You do not ever feel bad for taking advantage of an opportunity that comes your way to fill your pantry so you can feed your family without going over budget. You just don't. I have been known to clear the shelf. In fact, I'm just looking. Give me 10 seconds. Not even 10 seconds. I'll be right back. A while ago, Woolworths, I think this is Woolworths, had this shampoo. Somewhere had this shampoo. I'm pretty sure I got it at Woolies. It was 79 cents a bottle on clearance. I was standing there loading it into my trolley, and another lady came up and she picked up 2 bottles and just looked at me. And I said to her, do you want some more? And she said, oh, I wouldn't mind some more. I said, well, take what you need. I'll take what I need. We'll share it. And we halved what was on the shelf. If she hadn't been there, I'd have cleared the shelf. 79 cents for a bottle of shampoo when, seriously, I have men in the house. You can say to them, you only need a little bit. Their little bit is like half a cup, which is another reason I water it down. But did I feel ashamed of taking it all? No. And there have been times when I've been looking at markdowns and watching people, and they will pick it up, look at it, put it down, and pick up the full priced item right next to it. They won't buy a markdown item. I won't hesitate. If it's something that we like, we need, we use, and it's cheaper than it normally is, I will take it if I have the money to pay for it. I just won't. I won't feel bad about doing that, and nobody should. Nobody should feel bad about taking advantage of the opportunities that are put in front of them. It's like picking up the fruit when we go on our walks. People walk past it. It is perfectly good oranges, mandarins, and lemons lying on the ground. People walk past it. They won't pick it up. They'd rather go to the fruit shop and pay $2.50 a kilo for lemons or $5 a kilo for mandarins. I posted a thing for Melburnian cheapskates. I posted the bushy part, big watermelon list for tomorrow. It's actually really good. They won't bend down and pick up what they see. They would rather leave it on the ground to rot than take advantage of it. I'm too proud to not do that. There you go. I would rather know that I have freed up some money in our budget for something else by picking up the fallen fruit and using it. It means I've got the cash to pay for the baked beans that have gone up in price, pay for the tomato soup that's gone up in price, pay for the cheese that's gone up in price. Whereas if I ignored those lemons and had to buy the lemons out of my grocery budget, then I wouldn't be able to buy as much cheese or tomato soup or baked beans or whatever it is. So don't ever feel awkward. And I'm proud of you. I'm so proud of you, Cheryl, for not letting that happen. For just get your pantry full. We're coming into summer. Here in Australia, we're coming into summer. I think for maybe the first time in 3, 4 years, 5 years, we're going to have a really hot summer. I just have this feeling that our summer is just going to be the reverse of last year. Not that that's not a bad thing, but hot summers mean drought. Drought affects the quality, if not the quantity, of the produce that we can get. So we need to be on the ball and filling our pantries. Don't stop. I know some of you are doing shelf timber, and I think that is brilliant. If that's what you want to do, it is a great way to clean out your pantry, get things turned over, but just don't stop shopping. Don't stop replacing what you use. It's really important. Ouch. $5 a pair in June 22, $7 January 23. Now they're 15. Oh, I hate to think how much Wayne's work pants are going to cost. I get those from Big W. That's a bit scary. I haven't changed my shopping list in years. I know that it just makes sense. If you're used to shopping that way and that's your budget, it's a really good way to build your food security by just keep on shopping. It's a bit like how I started the stockpile. I just bought the same stuff over and over and over and over every month, the same shopping list, same quantities. If we used it all, we used it all. If we didn't, then it started the stockpile. We can't afford to, I was going to say cut back. It's not necessarily cutting back, changing things drastically. That's what we can't afford. All right, now, sorry. Were they cheaper? Often adult meds are cheaper for whatever reason than children's meds. We used to do that when Hannah was a baby. She wasn't very well, and the medication for the pediatric medication was something like $48 a script. It was more than I spent on groceries in a week. And then the doctor went, that is just stupid, gave me the adult script, showed me how to, not that I didn't know, but he showed me how to cut the tablet, crush the tablet, mix it, and put it in her bottle. And it went from $48 down to around $11 or something we could afford anyway, because otherwise we would have been, I don't know what we would have done, because we would not have been able to afford her medication. Let me see. Face to face. Yeah, Annabelle, you would have too, wouldn't you? You would have gone, thank you, Lord, and filled your trolley. I that I felt bad that that poor girl, that poor woman, was being hounded by people who A, didn't know where she got it from, B, weren't there. Seriously? Just shocking. Hello, Julie. Hello, Yvonne. Well, I've never got into a fight at the supermarket either, Joy, especially over toilet paper. But yeah, no. The other thing I do is if I am offered something, and it may not necessarily be a food that we eat or use, I don't knock it back unless I absolutely know I can't do anything with it, because often it will be something that I know my neighbour across the road will use, or I've got a friend who will be able to use it, or I can drop it off at somewhere and put it in church or whatever. And so I don't say no. I take it, and if it's not something that we can use, that I can, or it might be something that I could learn a new recipe or something with, but if it's not, I find someone who can use it so that it doesn't go to waste. Hello, Jenny. Yeah, I heard that, Jane, up your way on extreme fire weather. And I think, is it this weekend? You're supposed to be having really weird, bad fire weather. Yeah. Okay. 27, wind. Not so much the heat that's the issue, but the wind. We are, of course, planning our November trip and our January trip, but it will, where we go will absolutely depend on the weather forecast. So simply because we've had a lot of rain, there's a lot of ground cover in the bush, and we've been caught in bushfires before. It's not my favourite thing. Leave your pasta in the plastic bag it comes in, Catherine, and just put it somewhere dry and cool and dark if you can. Pasta's a forever food, one of the many forever foods. So don't fiddle with it, just leave it as it is in the bag, and store it somewhere dry at the very least. It will be fine for years. On to it. Aussie, hello. Toowoomba. Oh, we have friends up that way. I must ask them, Jane. Thank you. Yeah, it's dry here too. I know that sounds bizarre, but I keep going out and looking in my little rain barrels that I've got hooked up for the garden. I'm going, there's not much water in there, because I really hate having to use the mains water, good drinking water, to water the garden. Yeah, Joy. Yes to everyone and everything, and pass it on. Yep, absolutely. Rats will eat through just about anything. Oh, where did it go? Delaney says never underestimate rats. Rats will eat through absolutely everything, and they are really good at weirdest little creatures. Well, they're not so little, but even in the old-fashioned tin rubbish bins with the tight lids over the top, they can actually squash themselves really flat. Their bones seem to melt or something, and they can squeeze in the tiniest little gaps. So rats are awful. Oh, speaking of rats, that just reminded me. I didn't put the beans in the video. Sorry, guys. I don't know where they put them. My buckets of beans that I go through. I've got red kidney beans, soup mix, black beans, navy beans or haricot beans, and I packed them in Mylar bags, and with moisture absorbers and oxygen absorbers, so that they and store them in buckets. But I got the guys to get them out for me, but I didn't film them. But I have buckets of beans too in the pantry. Ouch, $2.47 per 1,000 litres. Wowzers. Really, really expensive. Everything's going up. Everything's going up. It's just, I don't know. We can't do anything about it, but everything's going up, unfortunately. Now, what else do I have to talk to you about? Big batch meals. Okay, guys, it makes sense. Now, I've done a few double up videos. I try to do them in real time, which means that you watch the video, that's exactly how long it takes me to prepare that meal and the spare, the double up. To me, it makes sense. If it's going to take me 1 minute longer to double the meal and put one in the freezer for later on, that's a good use of that minute. I would rather do that than only cook one and then 3 weeks down the track have to go through the same 10 minutes of my time to prepare another single meal. Yes, if it's in the freezer, I have to think ahead and pull it out and put it in the fridge to thaw and then slow cooker or oven or whatever. But 10 seconds from the freezer to the fridge is nothing. A minute from the fridge to the slow cooker is nothing compared to having to stand and do that individual meal prep over and over, because I don't double up or I don't do big batches. Now, I've been working on a couple of big batch videos for you based on normal size families. Everyone seems to do big families, large families, and that's great if you have a large family. But I just got an ordinary size family. And some of us aren't only 2 or 1 person households. So we don't need to know how to feed 16. We need to know how to feed 1 or 2 or 4 or maybe 6. So that's what I've been working on. It just makes sense to me. Honestly, even on the busiest days, it's nice to know that you can just open the freezer, pull something out, and if you haven't thought to do it the night before, you can put it in the microwave to let it thaw, or do the cold water trick in the sink and let it thaw before you cook it. Oh, flummery. I love flummery. Just reading Kylie's post. So big batch cooking makes sense to me. Now, I know that the thought of spending a whole weekend doing nothing but cook, if it's only going to get me a couple of weeks worth of meals, to me isn't worth it. If it's going to get me 3 months worth of meals, I'm in. I will do it. I will work the whole weekend and get that 3 months worth of meals into the freezer so that I don't have to cook. We're all busy. We are all busy, and life gets in the way, and we're coming into summer, which means the start of summer is garden time. So we're all out there busy in our gardens. We're brushing down the cobwebs from winter on the eaves. We're washing the windows. We're weeding the paths. We're getting ready for summer. Then comes summer, we're dealing with harvest. So we're dehydrating, we're bottling, we're canning, we're moving ahead with that while still looking after our garden and trying to enjoy our beautiful Australian sunshine. So having a freezer full of meals makes sense. Spending time to can food makes sense. Now, the comment was, well, really, it's just pointless if you've got to open a can of mince and then open a can of mushrooms and open a can of pasta sauce to make your dinner. You might as well just cook it from scratch, except that the mince is already cooked, the mushrooms are already cooked, the pasta sauce is already cooked. So all it needs to be done is combined and heated. You don't have to stand there and brown the mince and drain it, then cook the pasta sauce, wait for it to cook down, because that can take a good 30 to 40 minutes for a really nice pasta sauce. Then you've got to cook your mushrooms down, combine it. In the time that the spaghetti or the noodles is cooked, your pasta sauce is ready. It's been heated. It just makes sense. Now, I can see it behind me. Let's see if it's longer. I've just today canned some more corned beef. I didn't. These are quart jars of corned beef. Yum, yum, yum. I didn't. It came out of the canner just before tea time. I only had pints in the. I shouldn't really be moving it. I only had pints in the cupboard, so I wanted to get some more done. So I got a piece of corned beef out of the freezer this morning and put it in the canner this afternoon. While it was doing its thing, I got tea, so it wasn't difficult to do. It makes sense. Now that's ready. So if we wanted to, we could open the jar and eat it straight out of the jar. We don't have to heat it. We don't have to have it with anything else. It's cooked. Whereas if I was going to do corned beef the traditional way, it has to come out of the freezer, thaw in the fridge for 2 days. It seems to take 2 days to thaw corned beef because it's quite dense. Then it goes into the slow cooker for at least 8 hours. Now, I love the slow cooker because it's not a hands-on thing. Just keep an eye on it every now and then, give it a look, make sure everything's okay. But that's done. It took me 10 minutes to cut it up and put it in the jars and pop it in the canner. An hour and a half later, it's done. So it makes sense to me to can foods that are ready to eat, ready to heat and eat, ready to combine heat and eat if we need them. It makes sense to me to, if I'm making a recipe, to double it and put one lot in the freezer, especially messy things like meatballs, sausage rolls, pies, quiche. Oh my gosh, never do one quiche. Those sorts of things, it just makes sense. So if you're not a big batch cooker because you think it's not really worth the time saving, it is. It absolutely is. It just means you can get to relax and enjoy your food instead of thinking about the mess you made and having to clean it up after you've eaten. All right, now where are we going? Oh, sweet potato kills rats. Because we're sort of coming up to, we have a neighbour who doesn't mow their backyard at all. Once a year they get someone in with a slasher and he slashes it, and the things that come through that fence. So I might put some sweet potato just inside our fence line. Yeah, Delaney's been batch cooking for years. I love batch cooking. Seriously, it just makes life so much easier. Now she's doing it for her parents. That's really lovely. I think that's gorgeous. I loved cooking for Mum. Is your Pelican box the blue plastic, or what's the other one? It's a dark grey colour. We've got 2 Pelican boxes. We take the blue one camping with us because it's supposed to be pest proof and animal proof, and we put our food in that. Oh, good. Yep. Joy is the queen of knocking out 3 months worth of meals in a weekend because she works in a school. So she has long days and long busy days, and she doesn't get time off unless it's, school holidays. So she's the queen of it. If you were in the forum, you'll see sometimes on Cheapskates Chatter, she'll list what she's done to get ahead for school term. Huh. Puts me to shame. Annabelle calls her appliances handmaidens because they work for her. I think that as long as we know we appreciate them and use them, that's the thing. If we've got them and we don't use them, they're a waste of money. But using them is makes it all worthwhile. Yes, Tegan, it was cold raw packed. So the liquid, the stock in the jars is all from the meat. Now, I cut as much of the fat off as I possibly can. I don't like fat in our meat. And when I'm doing mince, I boil it and I drain it and drain it and drain it and rinse it and drain it and rinse it and drain it to try and get as much fat as I can out of the meat before I put it in the bottles. But that, like you do ugly chicken, it's ugly corned beef. Pack it in the jar, cold meat, cold jar, cold canner, and away you go. And it's just delicious. I was a bit nervous the first time I did it because when I do corned beef in the slow cooker, I put vinegar in the water, a little bit of mustard, a little bit of brown sugar, flavour it up. But I can't do that with the jars, with the canning. So I was a bit nervous. I only did 1 small piece of corned beef the first time I did it, but everyone loved it. And it is just delicious to do. And when corned beef is on sale for $8 a kilo, it's time to buy up big and can it. And that will be used. I can heat it up and we can have it with mash and mustard sauce and carrots and cabbage, or I can serve it cold on a salad plate, or I can shred it for hash, or I can chop it up and put it in my corned beef pie. 1 jar didn't seal. It's in the fridge, so Wayne might get some on his lunch tomorrow. See how I feel. I might not want to share it. Yeah. So many things that you can. So many things. It's I haven't been canning very long, about 4 years. But I love it. I absolutely love it. I love that the food is shelf stable. So once those jars are washed and labeled tomorrow, they'll go on the shelf. They will be good for 2 years, 3 years. They won't last that long, but they could last longer, be good longer, as long as they stay sealed. Now, like all things, over time, colour will change, the texture might change, but they will still be safe to eat. So it's shelf stable. It's getting me away from the freezer. So I am paranoid about power going out, and even with the generator, losing my freezers, losing what's in the freezers, and even being able to make an insurance claim. I just think of the work that went into filling them. I don't know that I could do that again. I just don't know that I could. Yes, Annabelle's another queen of batch cooking, and it's just whatever she's making is made in multiples. It just works. It just works. Yeah. Yep. You can't beat canned foods for putting a great meal on the table in 10 minutes. You just can't. Faster and cheaper than any takeaway, nicer than any takeaway. Healthier than takeaway. Canned food's really good. I'm I want to move away from being reliant on my freezers. I've been trying to do this for about 3 years, talking about it for 3 years, trying to do it consciously for 2. This will be the 3rd summer, so that if the power does go out, and it is out for any length of time, we do have generator, just a small one. It will keep the freezers cold. But what if I can't keep the generator charged? It's just, I would just rather not be freezer reliant. I say we, me, I'm saving up frantically. I want a freeze dryer. Desperately want a freeze dryer. I've even looked into getting my cousin to buy one and bring it over with him when he comes home, and doing the whatever. The price is what's holding us back at the moment, and the space. And I know that sounds weird considering the size of the house that I live in, but it would have to go out the back, and I can put it out the back. I'd be happy to do that. I've got the freezer out the back, but I want more shelf stable, so that I'm not reliant on electricity, pretty much. And if I can get down to turning the 2 big freezers off and just having the little one, I keep thinking, I wonder how much the electricity bill will change, and do a little dance. That would be fun. So that's why I'm moving away from frozen food storage. Yeah, home cooking is much better. Okay, Joy. Yeah, well, freeze dryer means that I can do whole meals. So I can do a stew and freeze dry the stew as it is. So we just add water to it to rehydrate it and warm it. I can freeze dry just about, you can freeze dry ice cream. I don't know why you would, but you can freeze dry ice cream. Oh, Yvonne, I hope he's all right. So I have the dehydrator. I do water bath canning. I do pressure canning. A little bit of freezing, trying to get away from it. So the freeze dry to me is the next logical step in becoming self-sufficient in food security, if that makes sense. That's what I want to do. So yeah, all right. Yeah, Yvonne, was his son hurt? I'm glad he's got a new car, but ouch. Kangaroos are big. People don't realise how big those things are. They are enormous. Just enormous. I keep thinking there's so many people in Australia would love freeze dryers. I don't know why. Oh gosh. Here we go. Here I go on my soapbox again. I don't understand why we can't make them in Australia. I don't understand why we can't make pressure canners in Australia. And a pressure canner is not a pressure cooker. It is a different beast. What do the kids say? Same, but different. We used to have Namco. Lots of people will be familiar. The factory was just down the road from us, not too far away at all, right near where Wayne works now. And they made pressure cookers and they did baking dishes and all sorts of saucepans and stuff like that. Some of you might even have Namco saucepans or pressure cookers in your... They don't exist anymore. The company doesn't exist anymore. But a company like that would have been able to make a pressure canner. We don't have that ability in Australia anymore. So we have to wait for it to come from overseas, which means our dollars drop down to under 64 cents USD. I swear, I don't know why that is too. It just does not make sense. And so that makes it even more expensive. And then we've got the ridiculous shipping costs on top, which puts them at hundreds of dollars, where in America, they can walk into a hardware store and buy my pressure canner for $70. Just ridiculous. So many things that we used to be able to make here and don't, or should be able to make here and don't, and that includes freeze dryers. It's a machine, guys. Surely someone in Australia has the nous to go, oh, that's how this works. Let's turn it into a household appliance and sell it. Our dollar in the 90s, we got down to, in the late 90s, early 2000s, we were down to 50 cents. It was painful, absolutely painful. For the dollar. No, Presto won't adapt them for Australia because we use different power and we have different safety standards, and Presto won't. I asked a couple of years ago when they first came out, when are they coming to Australia? No, they're not. We won't ever, at this point in time, Presto has no intention of bringing the digital electric pressure canner here. But in saying that, they are very small. They only hold, I think, 4 pints, 3 quarts. They are very small. So, but if you're doing a small batch, it sort of makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah, it was atrocious, Estelle. That exchange rate back there was just horrible. I know. And I saw someone posted a picture of them for $2.99 and they were complaining about the price. I was like, please, we pay that for one. Oh my goodness. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'd like an all-American too, but again, it's a bit out of, when I bought my Presto, it was out of the budget. So maybe one day, or another Presto. I don't mind. I'm happy to. I like my Presto. It does the job. I can double stack in it. What can I say? I can't complain about it for the price, can I? Alrighty, now let me go back and just check that I've gone through everything. And I think I have, that I wanted to talk to you about tonight. So I shall say good night. But before I go, thank you for sticking with me this far. I actually really appreciate you taking the time on a Tuesday night to come on YouTube and listen to me waffle on and to chat with me. Now, again, if you're not already subscribed to our channel, I would absolutely be honoured if you click that subscribe button and then click the little bell, and we can notify you every time we upload a new video or go live. And if you like tonight's video, let me know in the comments. If you're not in live chat, I read every comment. I'll go back tomorrow when I've got time and I will read every comment. And if you've got a question, I'll do my best to answer it for you. And please don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up. That little like just helps us with YouTube. If you know anyone who might benefit from the video or who might like to know more about the Cheapskates Club, there's a share button to send them the link, and that's all it does. We don't pester them ever. So if you can like, subscribe and share, that will help our channel grow, and it will help it be found more easily. And of course, you know what I'm going to say. I'm going to say the easier it is to find us, the easier it is to spread the message that it is absolutely okay and possible to live life debt-free, cashed up and laughing, even in today's crazy world. Now, I think the next video to go up is a back to basics, one of the back to basics series. It's a cooking one, courtesy of my darling husband. And then there's another cooking one after that I'm still trying to edit a bit. So it'll probably be over the weekend for you. And it's a mega baking session for lunchbox and morning tea treats. Again, courtesy of my husband, because he has asked for some sweet things in his lunchbox. So I thought, well, I need to get some baking done, don't I? Alrighty. Thank you again for joining me, and have a great week, everyone. I'll talk to you soon. And don't forget, log in, have a look at the video, drop into the forum, ask your questions. And if you want to get in on the book discussion, same deal. It's in the forum. You'll find it. Alrighty. I'll see you next week. Bye.